and the engagement's health feature for today. It is a Wednesday after all. And of course, we have some very hard-hitting topics for today.
Interesting topics.
And our topic today is gender identity, gender expression, and sex. So I'm assuming how they tie into
together.
Okay. So let's start with gender identity.
Hello, hi, the listeners of Kithangesi Radio. Welcome to the Engagements feature. And it's Maldivo again on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
Wacky Wednesday today, actually.
Yes.
I feel like this is what you call a Wacky Wednesday today because of the weather, first and
Yeah.
foremost. And just the mood.
Right?
It's so gloomy. I don't know what's happening. But let's hope it will sort it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So today on the engagements health feature, we're talking about gender identity, gender expression, and sex. As you said, and as you stated, LT, let's start with gender identity.
Yes.
So gender identity, what is gender identity? It's how each person's, it's the definition, or it's each person's internal and individual expression of gender.
Okay.
That is gender identity. So gender identity would be identity to what you are born with in between your legs.
Okay.
Right? And identity in terms of how you identify yourself in accordance to gender is concerned.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Gender is very evolving. How we determine or how we evolve or how we assign ourselves to gender is very different. It's influenced by, as you said, social construct.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's gender expression. It's how we publicly express our gender.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And how we are expected also to express ourselves in accordance to our gender.
All right.
Yeah. We'll obviously unpack.
Oh,
and
yes.
then we go to
Yes.
sex.
Yes.
Sex. I know we all have sex.
Yeah. We should all know what that is by now. If you
Sex
don't,
is
you should not be watching this live post.
Sex is a biological term in definition to what you are born with, what the doctor assigns to what they see when you are born in between your legs.
Okay.
So it could be either male. We've got 3 sexes. Did you know that?
I did not, but
Now we
continue.
know. We've got 3 sexes. So
Yes.
it's female, male, and intersex.
All
Those
right.
are the officialized sexes that I think we so far recognize with.
All right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Just let me go back.
Okay.
Real quick. Gender identity.
Gender identity.
Gender identity is what you identify as a human being.
Yes,
right?
it's what you identify as a
So
human being.
if you want to, if I'm understanding you clearly, no? You could be a biological man,
Exactly.
all right? Yet identify as a woman.
Perfect.
Okay. Now, and
that identity would be identified as transgender.
all right.
If you are born as a male but you identify as a female. So that identity is
Transgender.
transgender.
All right.
Transgender man or transgender woman.
Okay. And now this is where unlearning comes into play.
Exactly what
All
we
right?
spoke about earlier on.
It comes into play in this sense. When it or how do you now determine? Because it. Excuse me, I need to sneeze.
Okay. Not a problem. As I've said, it's a
Imagine.
Wacky Wednesday.
Yeah, now I need
Things
to
are gloomy.
I'm
Things
sneezing
are
live on a video broadcast here.
Imagine.
Anyway, back to I want everybody to and I mean this in the best possible way, where we understand that things like transgenders and gender identity actually exist.
Identities
Yes.
like transgender.
Exist, you know.
And learning of
Yes.
using
Is
words.
there a line to be drawn? Because there comes a time where people sort of abuse gender identity, you know, to get away with a lot, in terms of being wrong,
Okay.
breaking the law, getting ahead in life, for that matter. unlawfully getting ahead in life, and the list is endless. Now, my question is, now at which point do people say, okay, fine, I identify as a woman, treat me like a woman? You understand? Because you could get into a fight with somebody, they win the fight, and then suddenly you identify as a woman, and you want to be treated as such. Is that now still gender identity or gender appropriation?
In a lot of cases, when I LT that I've come across, such scenarios I've not been aware of.
Okay.
Right? Because one thing I can truly say and echo out to yourself and probably the listeners is I don't think that one would want to compromise themselves in assigning or identifying them to a gender that they don't
necessarily identify with in any case. In any case,
because there's stigma involved, right?
Yeah,
stigma attached.
True.
And remember now,
and
you cannot undo.
That is a revolving topic and or theme right through this feature.
So you cannot do or say and unsay, or you cannot.
Yes.
You cannot dress yourself in a gender and then undress yourself in a gender.
Sure, it's
Unless
not like a jacket.
Then we're talking about gender expression.
All right, so we're talking about. Okay.
Yes.
Now, So but
gender,
these seem to be intertwined, though.
They are intertwined. They do link together.
It's not as simple.
No,
it's not as simple as dressing and undressing in a certain gender, right?
No. There's no such. I doubt it exists because now with gender identity, remember, we uncap abbreviations like the LGBTQI umbrella, lesbian, gay, transgender, intersex, queer, and allies, plus, and moving forward.
Yes.
So with expression now, it comes now to what we spoke about, the social constructs. Right, number one.
Yeah.
The influence of life, be it where you are at the time, how you've grown up, or how you want to break free, or also how to advocate certain messages in how you dress up.
Yes.
Right? Because you are not who you dress.
At all.
No. Right? But you are who you identify yourself with and affirm with.
Mm-hmm.
Because gender identity has a lot to do with sexuality.
A lot.
Yes.
Mostly
with sexuality.
I think the majority of what comes with your identity and your expression, for that matter, has to do with your sexuality.
No, not really.
No, but I think the majority is.
But the expression...
Consider this. Okay. Consider this. And I don't like using such terms now.
Okay.
The butch lesbian.
Okay.
Let's use them as a prime example.
Okay.
The butch lesbian identifies as a man within their sexuality. Give me a second. In the sense that they actually dress the part, all right?
Okay.
They speak the part. They want to be addressed as such. All right, Anity? So that ties into gender expression. But now, the way they dress isn't it part of their gender expression now?
All right. The way they dress, yes, it is part of their gender expression.
All right.
But their gender identity is under L, which is they are...
Is that not now sexuality, Mel?
There's expression and there's sexuality, because sexuality now is how you prefer...
Where does them identifying as women fall into?
They don't identify as women. They do identify. They do identify as a lesbian woman.
Yes.
Unless if one says that I am a transgender man,
which I understand, which I fully understand. I can work with that. All
because
right?
now we link on to pronouns, which is he, she,
them,
they,
they,
yeah,
the fish. Someone once said, you know why I always ask these things, Mel, and sort of, I don't know if they were being sarcastic or they just were trying to make a point.
Okay.
All right. Now, this one time we were debating this whole gender identity, and I hadn't really
Kept
been
into-
being put into or put on to the different terms that like we are speaking about right now,
exist.
which now we speak of gender identity, gender expression, yeah, well. Now, this person said, if they wanted to, they would identify as a mermaid, and we'd have to be cool with that. All right.
All right.
Now, that said, okay, that said, and maybe that's fine. I can agree with
Absolutely.
that. All right. But now, when and this is where unlearning comes. There are no toilets for mermaids. There are no toilets for. Okay, so on a serious
Because
note,
of-
because there has not been a dialogue where
About-
people say they identify as mermaids. And even if you identify
As
as
a mermaid.
as a woman,
There are no.
there are no toilets for people who identify as women.
Not really that I've seen.
Exactly.
Right? Because
Exactly.
we
There are
need
toilets
to be,
for women. And I know this is a topic
But if-
very close to your heart, nah? But and you have to bear with me because we're on a journey here
I know.
to educate both myself,
Yes.
yourself,
Uh-huh.
and the listener.
Definitely.
All right, this is for everybody. This is for everybody. So now I want you, and you have to be patient with me.
Okay.
In the sense that I want you now to sort of further break down. I think we're here by gender expression. I think what I've just said ties into
gender
gender expression. All right. So now, with that said, and these are probably the problems that a lot of people encounter. Especially with them being told this is a psychological problem, this, that, and the third. Which is unfair.
Okay.
Which is unfair. I really believe some people believe that this whole gender identity and gender expression.
It's not funny, but like I find it funny because people don't understand. I think also it's how we refer these identities.
and how we communicate them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
There's a very vague message sent across from the people who actually know about the difference between gender identity and gender expression and everything like that. There's a very vague message where people get easily frustrated and they just leave it at that.
Okay.
Do
I think
you feel me?
Also, we are at a point in time where people are not ready to learn also because they don't want to understand.
No, for sure. 100%. 100%.
Feeling so with these sentiments echoed, they feel like it doesn't affect them in anyhow, but it does because we coexist
One day
with
each other.
Right.
And you're bound to bump into somebody who
Identifies.
as whatever. You understand? And then you're going to be in a position where you're like, what? Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think it's prudent to just sort of. Sometimes the human race needs to be babied.
We just feel like we want to be babied when a LT because we don't want
The
to
truth is not
unlearn.
convenient.
It's exactly.
the future is not convenient.
It's not just about the future,
Yeah.
but it's about how evolving things are
Yes,
and how
that's true.
now
That's true.
we are
And-
learning about these things even
Yeah.
more and more because how a lot of people are coming out and identifying themselves different from what is the social norm.
Yes.
From what is termed
For-
male
yeah,
and female.
and
Right.
gay and lesbian.
People now are breaking into their own sexuality.
That's
There's
true.
pansexual-
That is very true. It's
pansexuality
not
and a
the
various-
90s anymore.
No, and a various list of other sexualities that
yes,
people identify
very true.
with
Very true.
personally,
Yeah.
right? And it's with no time that we are going somewhere forward when a lot of people now are still, dead, not really dead naming, but like people are using the wrong terminologies or the wrong pronouns.
To identify.
Yes.
You
to refer also.
Yeah, to refer
the person other.
to the other person, and something that we need to change.
We need to change
it.
it a
Has
lot.
it has to change. It has to change.
Because automatically with this topic about gender identity,
Yeah.
a lot of people think that because you are gay, automatically you want to be referred as a female, and
And that's not
want
even
to
the
prefer-
case.
It's not even
Yes,
the
that's
case.
not the case.
Being gay is a male attracted to other males, and they prefer it to be like that.
Yeah.
Being lesbian is a woman attracted
Yeah.
to other women, and they'd like to address it as that, unless if otherwise their
Stated.
pronouns, stated that their pronouns are she, her, or something
Yeah.
else.
Yes.
So is the case for lesbian men and women,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You said
So-
lesbian men.
Sorry, I wanted to say transgender. I'm sorry.
You
Gay
said-
men and yeah.
See, I'm there.
Hey,
Woke.
LT, you are
This one. Woke. Him.
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 Yeah. Him.
Him.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you know what my pronouns are.
But people now, people like to make things difficult. People
Okay.
like to confuse things.
True.
When they are very simple in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that gender identity and gender expression is confusing. It's not confusing. How you express yourself is how you feel at that moment, or what message you're trying to express out there, or rather how you prefer to express.
Okay.
But then identity, how you identify yourself with, might be totally different.
Yes.
We've got men in kilts, Scottish men in kilts.
Yes.
They don't identify as
women.
As women. They're still men.
But that's a tradition.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's an expression of social construct.
Yeah.
Right? Of also social expectations.
All right.
Of social norms.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's evolving, therefore, we are seeing now men are wearing, okay, I wouldn't really say that a lot of skinny jeans and whatnot movement has been for women, but a lot of clothing now is drifting to not confusion, but a lot of wokeness, awakeness.
Okay.
And,
Yeah. All right.
Right. And men are expressing themselves in different manners and ways.
Yes.
Remember that women were not allowed to wear pants in
Yes.
the 1800s?
Hundreds. Yes.
Now we're seeing women wearing pants.
Everywhere.
And we're not questioning that.
No.
It's a norm.
It's a norm. And I mean,
Right.
it's weird. You know, you
It's
find
no longer weird.
No, as in you find that it would be weird for someone to be wearing a dress when you're like, I've never seen you in a dress. Do you know that? You know, that I've got friends who I've never ever seen in dresses. That might not even be, you know, LGBTQ inclined. You understand? So the norms have changed. I'm
A lot
agreeing
of
there.
norms have
I'm
changed,
agreeing there.
But people don't want to adjust and learn into what's changing, because
All right.
we all love fashion, LT. We all love to
Yeah.
dress up. We all love to look good. But we don't want to evolve into what we can, bring about us playing around with looks.
Uh-huh.
Also remember that we've got drag men.
Yes.
Men that drag, for a living, for shows,
For
cabaret
shows,
shows
yes,
and
yes,
whatnot.
yes,
Those
yes.
men are not gay. Those men don't identify as transgender men. Especially, I think, in Cape Town. I think that culture and trend is very big.
Is big there. It's very
Exactly.
big there. It's very
Those
big.
men still have their families and whatnot, and their wives. That is inclined to gender identity. It's
Aha.
not expression.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Aha.
Identity in forms of
I feel like
ways
that
to
was
make
that was
money.
the most clear definition of gender identity.
In forms, gender identity in forms of ways to make money, to make a
Yes.
living.
All right. Okay.
It's not in any how faking or making a mockery out of transgender people
Okay.
or women.
All right.
But it's a way of
Have you
awareness.
told the
Entertainment.
transgender people that?
No, I haven't.
Have
But
you
they
told
do.
them that?
No, they do, and they understand.
No, do they?
Yes, it's not an insult.
Okay.
Actually, I think
Okay.
people find it people of the core community find it appealing to sing other people switch up looks
Okay.
and play
All right.
dress
No,
up.
as long as they're happy.
Yeah,
As long as they're happy.
because it's a form of representation.
True.
Yes,
Yes.
inclusivity,
Yeah.
understanding, and
Okay.
forms of making people learn, as you stated before.
Yes.
Exactly.
Part of the learning process.
Yeah.
I feel-
Visibility, so that people are aware.
Yeah.
A lot of people
this is
are-
a thing.
Exactly. To
Okay.
make it a norm.
Okay.
Put it out there.
I feel
Bring
you.
about awareness as well.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I feel you.
You know?
I'm with you.
Exactly.
And what else? We do have about 5 minutes left to the show. to the
Not
show.
to the-
Not to the feature. The show
To the
has
show.
5 minutes left. But
You did state that you have things that you don't understand that you'd like to raise.
yes,
or that you don't get.
I went into gender
Search.
gender appropriation. And for me,
Oh.
it's what I have a very, very big issue with, you know, for me. And I want to, this is part of the whole gender identity situation,
Okay.
where people now want to use, you know, a specific gender to get ahead. I don't know if you saw this swimming, I don't want to call it a scandal, where
Viral
where,
that's going
where
on.
this guy identifies as a woman. All right, so this is a guy who was I think not even in the top 20 in the world, and he woke up one day and said he identifies as a woman, so he'd like to swim with the women.
Okay.
All right, and he was
For advancement.
for advancement for his career.
Okay.
Going back, financial advancement.
Okay.
All right. And this is not somebody who went through, you know, hormonal therapy or anything like that, and or medical procedures for, you know, to be approved as a trans man or trans woman, or you know. But he just woke up one day and identified
As a woman.
as a woman. And
Were they in place of that? Were there any regulations put in the sports fraternity that
there
could
are-
also allow him to swim within the women's?
there are rules that state that you can't. I mean, the normal general rules.
Okay.
You shouldn't be swimming with women if you're a man.
Okay.
All right. The general. What do I want to call them? Prehistoric rules.
Okay.
All right.
But by law, also stating that if you identify as a trans woman in any fraternity or
Yes.
like space that you'd like to involve yourself with, at least your gender marker with the advancement with such sports fraternity and
Yes.
whatnot should also align to that. Probably a letter from the psychologist also.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is that part of now? With that said, I think there was a pressurized decision to actually let him swim, and then
Henceforth, everything was just put into rush.
yeah, and now suddenly, there have been complaints from the female swimming fraternity that no man, siyapulishwa up. You understand? We'd like in the Uba
To be revisited.
this whole thing to be revisited, and he be banned from swimming with women.
Okay.
Until they are, you know,
Satisfied with
satisfying
the affirmation.
criterias and affirmations and everything like that say he's a trans man, or failing which. And I also want to ask you this question.
Okay.
Do you think trans women or trans men should be allowed to participate in female sports?
Definitely, they should.
Okay.
If not, where would they feel comfortable at? Because
Okay.
they identify as.
They do, and they do. All right, but with that said, like I said, the same guy,
Okay.
you know, has an unfair advantage because he's biologically. Wait, hang on. Before
I bite you off.
Before you bite my head off, biologically, and like I said, there hasn't been a letter from the psychologists. There are no transgender markers. There's you understand. There's absolutely nothing that says he should be allowed to participate in a and I'm sorry if I'm dead pronouncing, if that's even a term. Okay. All right, but the bottom line of it all is that if he was to get into a fist fight with me,
Then
it would be an even
roles
one.
were- okay.
It would be even than if the roles were reversed and he was fighting with my girlfriend.
all right.
You understand? Him fighting my girlfriend would be a lot less even.
But remember, with
Or running, for that matter. Let's not use fighting. Running.
it's a very long.
It's a slippery slope.
It is.
It's a slippery slope
Yes.
that needs a lot of engagement.
Yeah.
needs a lot.
Because it goes back to a lot of instances or a set scenario that we as South Africans have come across.
Okay.
Right? Okay, because of regulations and whatnot, I'd like to leave it for now because
Okay.
I want to indulge in this topic. It's very interesting.
And we can even continue it next week if you want.
We can definitely do that.
Okay.
We can
Let's
definitely
do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Anyway, it's time for us to get up out of here. The show is up, guys. Show is up.
It was very intense.
You must give us 1 more hour. No, I want to go home. Anyway, shout out to Mel, man. Thank you very
Thank you
much for
so
coming. We
much,
will
LT.
see you next week, yes?
Definitely.
This has been the Engagements Health feature. And of course, this has been Mel Devo. My name is DJ LT. And this has been Let's Just Drive. You know